What's up, guys? In this video I want to talk about how I'm making an extra $30,000 a year by living in an RV. And I want to jump right into it. RVing is not for everyone, but I feel like the world has changed since COVID-19. And I feel like housing is not as critical as we have previous thought, and RVing is kind of the new wave of the future. It's now the cool thing to do. All the cool kids are doing it, and I want to show you how I'm going to make an extra $30,000 a year moving into an RV. Now, I live in a beautiful home, almost 6,000 square feet. I bought it 2 years ago, and the values in 2021 and 2020 have just skyrocketed. Now, I'm the type of a real estate buyer that wants to hold property forever, and so the first point that I want to make is I'm not going to be selling my house, and this is the primary way I'm going to make extra cash when I move into an RV. And in this video I'm not going to talk about the benefits of living in an RV. My wife, my 3 kids, we're not going to talk about those benefits right now, but just the financial aspects of it. So when we move into an RV, I have a mortgage still on this house. I'm going to rent the house out for a premium, and for me the cash flow is going to be close to $2,500 a month. I mean, that's pretty wild. We moved into a big house, we renovated it, dropped 6 figures on a renovation. House is beautiful now, and we're hoping that we can get close to $5,000 a month. Worst case scenario, $4,500 a month in this market for a luxury house. And there are a lot of people who are looking for even just a 6-month stay in a house because they're building something and they have lots of kids. And so for me to advertise a 6,000 square foot house, there's actually surprisingly a lot of people who are needing that in-between housing. So how does this benefit me? So my mortgage is roughly $2,400 a month on this place. I'm hoping to rent it for $45,000 to $5,000 a month. That's going to yield me, $27,000 to $30,000 in income a year. So that's kind of my first point, is you're doing yourself a disservice by not moving. And you look at it in the form of opportunity cost. I'm paying to live in a liability. The minute I leave, this liability becomes an asset where I'm generating cash flow. And that's very Robert Kiyosaki in terms of his mindset. The second point I want to talk about is you're actually going to be saving quite a bit of money. So me in this house, for example, I'm spending quite a bit of money just living and operating in a big house. Even if my house was half the size, or 2,500 square feet. When you have 2,500 square feet, you're going to be spending money on things like, oh, I need this decor, or I want this decoration. And I think this is the secret killer of most homeowners, is the more space you have, the more you need to fill it with stuff. And stuff is kind of the secret killer, if you want, to most people's finances. Not something you can plan or budget on. So when you move into an RV, you're moving into 100 to 400 square feet, depending on what type of rig you get. And there's nothing wrong with getting a big rig, but the bigger rig you get, the max size you can really get is like 500 square feet. I mean, that's very, very rare. And so, if you're in something like a travel trailer, you might be living in, 180 square feet. And so you'll be saving a lot of money by virtue of moving out of your house. So you're making money. Now you're saving money by virtue of smaller space and whatnot. And let's not even go into the benefits of the travel side, what that does for you psychologically, and the happiness and the autonomy that can bring you. Because most people today are working from home, and I haven't been in the office in years, and I feel like more and more that's happening today. The third point I want to talk about is business expenses. Now, I encourage everyone to start a business. You can do, and it doesn't have to be a profitable business. It can be a business looking at real estate. And so there are incredible tax benefits with having an LLC. And that, for me, this is like kind of like the secret that most people don't have. If you don't have any form of LLC and you're stuck in the W-2 world, you pay the highest taxes on the planet. And as soon as you shift from W-2 world to I'm a business owner, everything changes. And, tax rates drop significantly if you do a little bit of tax planning, do some research, and put some things into practice. And so let's talk about some of these benefits. So right now you can't write off a house. You can write off interest and depreciation, and that's pretty much it. So and there are some loopholes for real estate professionals, but that's a very tiny subset of the market. So right now, if you're a homeowner and you buy a $400,000 or $500,000 house, or whatever the median is in your area, you have to. The most that you'll probably take in depreciation is $8,000, $12,000, $15,000, $20,000 a year. Like, that's pretty tiny, and honestly, usually doesn't go much against your income, so it doesn't have a big impact. When you live in an RV and you have a substantial business, or you start coming up with a business, you can write off almost anything. And one thing I would encourage you is, if you rent out your house, that's your business. So if I'm making a $30,000 a year gain on renting out this house that I'm in, and I can just walk away and have cash flow, well, $30,000 a year, I can use that towards living expenses on the road full time. So let's kind of go into that. So you can write off your RV. If your RV is now your house, you can write that off. And usually, I think the IRS rule is when you go over 6,000 pounds, you can write off 100% of the vehicle. So you could theoretically drop $30,000 on a Class A RV and write it completely off, and it's as if you made no money. It's as if you made no money, and that's the incredible thing is, I made $30,000 and I'm paying $0 in taxes on it because I bought an RV. So you can write off your house, aka your house on wheels. You can write off your gas. You can write off some entertainment. You can write off meals. And I think in 2021, meals are 100% deductible. And so there's a lot of huge benefits to not living in a house. So I would challenge you to consider, how do I make my current living situation, do I need to be here? And I always challenge, do you need to be in a certain location? Because in today's world, most people are moving more towards working from home, and that's making people move into more affordable areas. But even more than that, buy more assets, and then be on the road, have more adventure. Again, it comes down to what goals you want in your life. But in my life, with my family, my 3 kids, I feel like it is my highest and best use of my time to raise and train up my children. To they're the next generation, and we homeschool and we educate them every day. And some of the best form of education is being on the road and seeing new places and actually experiencing, places where history happened. Good for you if you can learn that way from reading from a book. But we want to give that education to our kids. So those 3 reasons alone make it totally worth moving into an RV full time.